Hello, today I'm talking space invaders, the things that take up more space in your house than they should. Two of those things are thick walls and having too many doors. So I'm going to illustrate this with the story of a 17th century cottage and how I increased the floor space by 15% without extending it. Now, firstly, everybody knows that old buildings can often have thick walls, but it's not until you see an accurate floor plan of a house like this that it dawns on you what it means in real life. And secondly, in this cottage, the layout was so chronically bad, it had created a lot of unusable space. So let me walk you through this plan. Okay, let me talk you through the layout. Let's start at the back door of this house. You come in, it's not very usable space, it's only for traffic, you can't use it for anything else. Then on the left, when you go in, there is a toilet and all the electrics, which is a novel configuration. Obviously, originally it was a room, the demolition has started here. Then you go through into the kitchen, which has very thick walls, two rather not very large windows, and it's very dark and dingy, not inviting at all. Then this is the boiler room. Just had a machine in there and a boiler, which is far too much space devoted to a boiler room and basically a junk room. This is a little serving hatch into the dining room. Then you come back through the kitchen. This is a step down into the lounge. So that door's in quite an awkward spot. And then this is the old-fashioned thing where you have a door at the bottom of stairs. So that space has to be kept free for doors opening. There's also a door here in the corner, which takes you through to the front hall. So a deep recess here. So if you look at this, you've sort of got a V shape here. It's a very difficult room to put furniture in. And this, well, what on earth is this? Well, this is, that's the fireplace now ripped out, but there was a huge wood burner on this hearth, the hearth even had a hearth extension, which was just insane. So this was really a very dysfunctional room. Again, the front hall's teensy tiny, full of doors, and then through into a dining room with a big chimney breast. But it's a dead end room. So to get to that room, all the traffic has to come through here. So this room works very hard and is just not satisfactory at all. The total footprint, and by that I mean the outside, the perimeter, is 96 square meters. But if you look at the grey walls, that takes up 38%, which is completely staggering. 38% of this ground floor is taken up by walls. That is a huge percentage. So just extending this cottage at the back wouldn't have solved the terrible layout. It wouldn't have made the living room any more usable and easy to furnish, and it wouldn't have made the kitchen better either. So it's really important to look at what you've got, the space you've got now, not what you've not got. And it's crucially to pin down what you actually want to achieve. So I'm going to take you through what was done to this cottage. Luckily, it wasn't listed, and all the work you'll see is deliberately designed to be done under what's called permitted development. That means that no planning permission is required, which is a time and money saving if ever there was one. So now let's look at the new design. So let's have a look at the new plan. First of all, the back wall comes out, and that is fully glazed. The utility room wall's taken back a bit to leave more room here. The step down, there's a step down to the rest. This middle wall comes out, and there's a 7.5 metre steel beam goes in. So this becomes the kitchen, open plan living, and dining and other seating area, all very flexible in a U shape. So it's more broken plan than open plan in a way. The only compromise really was this section here, which is the best part of 2 square meters with the electrics in there. So unfortunately, power companies can charge anything they like to move their equipment. So it was decided reluctantly that it was just too risky, could cost too much money for insufficient gain. So there's always a compromise on every build. So here's an overlay. The orange is the new plan set on top of the old layout. So you can see all of the pale grey wall that is going to be removed. And crucially here, this door is going to be closed up. So it makes this a really usable room. You can put sofas, corner sofas or whatever in it. And also the chimney breast goes in the kitchen. And it's really quite an extraordinary transformation. So with this design, the external footprint stays exactly the same, but the walls take up 9% less of the total space than they did before, and the usable space is 15% more. And part of that is because there's only one internal door now, all the space that was required to leave space for doors to open, that has now gone. That space has all been released. So I'll leave you with some before and after photographs, because who doesn't like that? So space invaders. So walls and doors take up space. So if you have too many of them, it is a problem. And there is a big difference between actual space or square footage and space that is useful. And it's important to work out the distinction between the two. So an extension, of course, adds actual space, but it never solves the problems of an. So I hope you found my chat about space invaders interesting and useful, and that you can maybe now look at your own space in a slightly different way. Every house has its own space invaders to a certain extent, and it's not just walls. There are other things that eat up space as well. Give me a thumbs up, please, if you like this video, and do subscribe to my YouTube channel for other insights. So if your home's suffering from lack of space, why don't we have a chat? You can see how in my bio, and thank you for tuning in.